Hello, everybody. It's me, Shad, Polynerdic, back with our first OrNERDnary vlog in probably a month. I think feels like it's been about a month. Um, just wanted to touch base, have a brief little conversation with y'all. Wow, I word saladed that. Um, It is September 29th, 2024, as we record this. I cannot post it yet because the hurricane has taken out the internet since Friday afternoon. Um, so we're a little over 36 hours. 40, 42, 43 hours since the internet went down. Which is something that's an annoyance, obviously, but I feel like it's in bad form to complain about it, um, considering that, like, over 50 people at this point have been declared dead from the hurricane, and millions are without power. I mean, there's a lot of people here in southern Ohio that lost power, this thanks to this hurricane. And yeah, buddy. Cat has thoughts. Meow. You want to come up? Come up, buddy. Anyway, there's a lot of people here in Ohio that lost power. I was nearly in tears watching what happened in North Carolina, where, like, Asheville was completely cut off from the world. No phone, no internet, no electricity, no roads in or out of the community. They're just kind of trapped. And so it does really feel like bad form to be like, wow, I can't get on the internet. I can't play Fortnite. I can't play Coral Island. I can't, I'm grateful I at least have power. The internet being out is an annoyance. It keeps me from being able to pay some bills electronically and check my bank account and stuff like that. But, like, holy shit, it's not that bad. That said, what I really wanted to talk about is this concept right here above my head. It's how I've chosen to live life recently. We talked a vlog or two ago about my mental health journey, from heartbreak to rebuilding to, in my opinion, being a better man than I've ever been, a happier person than I've ever been in my entire life. I had untreated depression and anxiety, and then later found out ADHD and stuff, from my teenage years until my late 30s, early 40s. 20 years plus of just trying to handle it with minimal treatment. Occasionally I'd get on some medicines but didn't like how they made me feel. Occasionally I would talk to a therapist but never really clicked with them. I had one really particularly bad one in 2020. Dude, don't scratch my shirt. Hey, don't bite me. Yeah, so I basically ruined my life for all intents and purposes by not taking care of myself. And, like the best relationship I've ever had in my entire life, the best woman I've ever had in my entire life, lost her. I mean, we're still friends, but, like, it's not the same. All sorts of shit. Completely upended my life. Rebuilt. Am a better person, better human being than I've ever been. Happier than I've ever been, but also lonelier than I've ever been. And I'm still dissatisfied with my job, and that was still causing problems. And that has been a thing for my entire life. My 20s, I was obsessed with being an author. I would do my 9 to 5 bullshit. I'd come home, do my dad's stuff, and then as soon as the kids were in bed, I'd stay up late trying to write novels. And then being very, very frustrated that I wasn't able to finish them, or that I was getting writer's block, or whatever. I was just miserable. My 30s, most of that was spent trying to get polynerdic.com up and running. I wanted it to be like a giant bomb or a kind of funny or whatever. I wanted to build a thing that I could bring my friends into that are, that share similar passions, and and find new friends that share similar passions through that. Build a community, all of that. That was my, for lack of a better term, obsession in my 30s, and it's what largely pushed me over the edge because I hated my jobs. I hated being a night shift security guard. I hated working claims, trying to get the VA to process civilian hospital claims. I was just super unhappy. Ruined everything. Had to go to the hospital after losing the love of my life to my own mental radioactivity. So rehashing all of that is not really the point. The point is I found this to be the key to the next step. Like, after I learned to love myself, after I learned to live on my own, and be a functioning, happy adult without a partner, I was still not quite there. I still hated my job. I work at a different place than I did in 2020 and 2021, and it's the same job but in a different capacity. Like, I work against Anthem instead of the VA now, and I work for a different hospital, but it's still the same unsatisfying job. I could churn out the quota times another half. I could do 1.5 of what my daily quota is, and while that is excellent numbers to the company, it honestly doesn't mean shit to me. I get nothing out of it. Like, the other than the paycheck, the only thing I get out of performance like that is cool. They won't be mad at me. It's kind of like in Office Space when Peter says, I think his name's Peter, isn't it? I haven't seen Office Space in a while. I got to fix that. When the main character says that, like, at a certain point, I'm paraphrasing, at a certain point you end up creating a structure at work that only encourages people to work hard enough to not get fired. And that's kind of what it feels like. Like, I'm content to, like, okay, I'm not going to be in trouble for these numbers. I don't feel good about them, but I don't feel the fear of getting fired or even being talked to, because I don't like that either. That's damn good coffee. So Optimistic Surrender. It'd be over here, wouldn't it? Yeah. Is a thing I stumbled across. It started with, I think, optimistic nihilism was the phrase I heard a year ago, and that kind of rattled around in my head. And, like, as a part of that, I've given up. I've given up in the best way possible. And that is that, like, I've wanted a satisfying job my whole life. My entire adult life, I've just wanted to be happy with what I do. That may not be in the cards for me. Let's be real. But between the way my brain works, my neurodivergence, and my deeply held convictions, I will probably never, ever, ever have a job, a 9-to-5, full-time job that means shit to me. And what I have given up on is that mattering. For the last several months, I have churned out excellent numbers. To the point that, like, every week, my boss pulls me into the office and says, hey, I just want you to know you're doing a really good job. Both quantity and quality have improved drastically over the last 3 months. Because of that. And that's all I want. I just want to stay off the radar. I just want to be content in that I'm not in trouble. I'll find little victories along the way. When I get Anthem to pay a bill that they were stubbornly trying not to pay, awesome, that's a victory. But I'm not going to spend time and energy and happiness on trying to be satisfied with what I do. This stuff will be my satisfaction. All of my interests, my hobbies, talking to the void, in the hopes that someone will hear my words and resonate. I'm not seeking this to be a career. I'm not even seeking money out of it anymore. Like I am a Twitch affiliate, but even prior to the hurricane, for over a year, my internet has not been functional enough to let me live stream. So that's why I do a lot of pre-recorded stuff on YouTube now. I make no money doing it. It's just me sharing a part of myself with the internet in the hopes that somebody enjoys it, other than myself. So that was giving up number 2. Number 3 and 4 are kind of the same thing. For the last several years, I've been single. That's not a secret. I fucked up my mental health to the point that the best woman I've ever known, the woman I was convinced I was going to marry, as soon as I got out of my own way, couldn't deal with it anymore. And I say that with no animosity. I still very much love this woman, and if she wanted me back, I would gladly come running. But that's not in the cards. Probably never going to happen, unfortunately. So for the last couple years, I've been trying to make new friends, and I've been trying to date. Neither have gone well. I have not vibed with anybody as a friend, and I certainly, because of the way I'm wired, as a result, have not vibed with anybody romantically. I was on dating apps for most of the last 2 years and not having a good time. I don't like the Tinderification of dating apps. In my 20s, I had some reasonable success on dating apps. I talked to some people, hung out a couple times, had a couple dates, had a couple, lasting relationships that spun out of the dating apps. 3-4 months, nothing super long term, but had a good time. Met some people, clicked, socialized. But that was before it switched to this Tinder style of, here's a picture, if they even bothered to write anything about themselves, here's some information, swipe left if you're not interested, swipe right if you are. And it's like, that's not how I function. Like, I don't, like, I recognize beauty, I recognize when I find someone attractive, but I'm not into you or interested in you until I talk to you and figure out who you are. Friendship is an absolute must for me in a relationship. You just can't be physically or visually pleasing to me. Like, cool, that's great, you have a beautiful face and fucking fire body, curves in all the right places and all that, but if I don't like who you are, I'm not going to be interested in even hanging around you, let alone touching you. And I am a physical touch guy. I'm a hugger. I love to be hugged. And I love to give hugs. I love to receive hugs. I love to cuddle. I love to hold hands. I love all of that sort of contact. I get so much joy out of, like, if you walk past me and, you just put your hand on my back. Or my lower back even. Like, just contact just fills me up with joy. But I have to like you to want you to touch me. Like, if I don't like you, if we're not friends, I don't even have to dislike you. If we're not friends, I don't want you to touch me. I really don't want you to perceive me, which is silly because how are we going to be friends if you never perceive me? But that was the thing I gave up on this year. That has ultimately led to vast improvements in my life. I feel better. I'm happier. I'm not having these moments, because like I used to tell my boss, we'd have a pretty frank conversations about how I am emotionally, that like I feel great in every way except socially and professionally. Like, I love me. For the first time in my entire life, I've spent 2 years absolutely loving being alive. That used to only be a Saturday morning thing. I used to only wake up happy on Saturdays because it was the day that was the most free. There was no baggage the next day because Sunday was there. There was no work at the start of the day like Friday. It was just my day of the week. And now it's every day, even the work days, even Monday. Tomorrow morning when I wake up, it will be Monday. And if the internet's back, I will have to either burn PTO or go to the office, and considering I need all the PTO for the holidays at the end of the year, I think that means I'm going to go to the office, and I fucking hate going to the office. I signed up to be work from home 4 days a week, not more than that, or less than that rather. Internet, come on, there we go. I was out of focus. So I had all of that kind of waging war still inside me. Like I had finally gotten to a spot where I loved myself, but I wasn't loving life. Like I was waking up happy, but I wasn't able to hold that every day. There were many days where I would clock out at the end of the day and just go to bed. Just, I'm done. I'm not even eating dinner. So that's the last two things I gave up, optimistically. With gratitude, I surrendered the drive to find friends and find love right now. I'm 41 years old as of this recording. I've got 2 adult children, one just a couple years away from being an adult. I'm as close to empty nesting as one can get without empty nesting, and I've got plenty of life ahead of me. Younger folks that might be watching this, a really fun thing that happens as you get older is you continue to enjoy the company of people close to your age. So so that worry that, oh no, everyone's going to be ugly when we're old, that doesn't happen. That absolutely does not happen. If you're, developing properly, I guess. I'm sure there are people out there that have some arrested development issues. But I digress. That's what I wanted to talk about mostly, is the fact that I have found the key for me to feel like I'm thriving, which I'm as close to thriving as I've ever been right now, was giving up. As funny as it sounds, I had to give up. Not on life, but on the things that I was applying too much pressure to. I was, it's the old adage that you never find it till you're not looking for it when it comes to interpersonal relationships. The moment you stop searching is the moment you'll find what you're looking for. And I think that is partially true here, in that, I wanted happiness, I wanted contentment, but I was looking for it in the wrong ways. I was trying to force connections, when honestly I don't have the energy for them. I don't have the social battery to be a good friend right now. In my opinion, and I've heard it directly from others, so it's not just me, I'm a pretty decent guy. I have a good heart. I come from a good place, but I don't have the energy to be a good friend, I feel like. Some of my former friends will probably agree with you on that. Lord knows I've lost a number over the last couple of years. I'm just not good at the socialization on the friend level, and honestly, I'm definitely I'm a girlfriend guy, and that when I'm in a relationship, that's really all I care about. As far as that's where my social battery goes, and in the absence of that, it doesn't shift over. I lost who I thought was going to be my future wife once I got out of my own way. And that energy, that contentment, that self-perpetuating battery, because she never drained my social battery, didn't shift over to the friend area in the loss of her. I just don't have energy to friend, to people, really. I leave the apartment to take my kid to college and back, to go to the groceries, to go to work. That's it. Once in a blue moon, I'll get a wild hair up my ass, and a couple weeks ago when I drove 100-mile round trip to get some food from a place I love. Once in a blue moon, that'll happen. But I have found the key to my current happiness, my current sense of peace, is my cat, my kid, and optimistic surrender. Giving up with the purest of intentions. Not in the I'm defeated, I can't do it, it'll never happen way, but in the quit stressing out about it. If it happens, it happens. Play the hand you're dealt and just be happy existing. You know, we don't know how much time we have left, any of us, at any moment. Could be our last, but like at the start of this, we were just talking about the devastation of a hurricane that just passed. There's possibly two more in the next couple weeks. There's two systems forming right now in the Gulf of Mexico, one of which looks like it could very well plow up the same path Helene just did. Flooding has been a problem all year, all over the world. Shit's changing. We haven't done anything about it, and now we're looking at the consequences. We're in the find out era after decades of fucking around and pushing it down the road. So 4 years from now, we may not even fucking be here. I'm going to enjoy every minute I can. I wasted over 2 decades of my life not dealing with my depression and my anxiety and my just general toxicity of just being radioactive with my failing mental health. I'm going to enjoy every moment I can, even in the face of minor inconveniences. You know, like I said at the start, it would be horseshit to complain about the internet not working when there are dead people, dead and missing people in a states-long line from this hurricane, and there's the pending catastrophe of what's coming, COVID, all of that. Like, the last couple years have been a nightmare, and I'm going to enjoy every last minute I have, whether it's 40 years or 4. And like I said, part of this optimism is if I get my next 40 years, that's plenty of time to fall in love again or make new friend groups. Like, I have all these TTRPGs I want to play. Not the paper towel, but the TTRPGs. Down here, too. In fact, all the way down. These 4 shelves are all TTRPGs. And I don't get to play any of them. I don't get to run them. I don't get to play in them. Because I don't have a friend group. And I have not clicked with any friend groups in any other way. You know, I frequently go to the game store, my favorite game store in town, and I talk to people, other customers and the staff, and like it's never beyond that. It's never like, hey, we play a game every Tuesday night. Are you interested? You know, like, never. But that also goes back to my social battery stuff. That like I can't guarantee that every Tuesday I'm going to want to play or have the energy to play, be in the mindset to play, and that's a problem. That's a me problem that I don't want to inflict on anyone else. Words. But anyway, we've gone on past 20 minutes. That's my current life philosophy. To stop applying pressure to myself, to have more friends, to be in love, to be a success at work, to feel good about my job, to have a career. You know, comparison is the theft of joy. I don't give a shit what anyone else is doing. I'm me. I'm working on me every day. For the last several years, I have been invested in being better than the guy I was the day before. And I'm happy to say that for like over 2 years, I feel like it has been constant progress. Some more pieces clicked in place with this concept. And right now I'm just focused on being the best me so that I can make other people better just in small ways. I've always operated on the MO of I don't want to inconvenience you in any way, shape, or form. I don't want to make you unhappy. I don't want to make you... You know, I don't want to pull out in front of you and you have to hit your brakes even in the slightest to not hit me. I don't want to be an inconvenience to anybody. I'm sure there's caveats there that I just haven't explored. But I really don't want to inconvenience you or cause you any trouble. I don't want to be a factor in your day unless it's positive. And that's where I am right now on my journey. I want to be the best me, to be the happiest me, so that I can positively impact others. And, after a lifetime of untreated mental illness having the opposite effect on people, I think that's a pretty solid philosophy to balance the scales back in the right direction. Um, I only want to be a positive impact on people moving forward. And that starts by just playing the hand you're dealt and not being upset about any of it, if at all possible. I know that's easier said than done in some cases. There will always be things that come up that are devastating, death and loss and heartbreak and whatnot. Um, but I think if I start with the core focus of the optimistic surrender, just live with a sense of optimism, gratitude, and not applying undue pressure on myself, I think that's a good starting point. I don't know. Your mileage may vary, or your mileage may marry, like I started to say. I don't know. You do you, bro. I'm sorry. I love when words get switched around and misspoke. Thank you for watching this nearly 30-minute rambling diatribe about my life. I'm in a good place. I think that's the best way I can wrap this up. I'm in a great place, and I hope your life is going well. Whatever religion you do or don't practice, spare a thought and some energy and money, if you have it, for the people affected by this hurricane and the soon-to-be possible hurricanes to follow. I'm going to get some more coffee and play some video games. Got a number I could record in the absence of my Game Pass access. Anyway, have a good rest of your day whenever you watch this, whenever I get to put this up. And I'll see you around the channel. Make sure you like, follow, subscribe. We play video games here quite a lot. And we talk about TTRPGs, and then occasionally I do one of these where I just pour my heart out for 30 minutes. I'll see you around, though.